Hey y'all, Shayla from Making Lemonade from Lemons, and today I'm going to show you a little bit of the changes that have been going on in my garden. So a mid-month garden tour. Let's get started. This is my flower garden area, and I'm going to talk about it first. So if you can see my nasturtiums, there's still lots of blossoms and everything on them, but the plants themselves are starting to look kind of sad. I'm going to try and see if I can save the seeds from these. Along with my calendula. My calendula, I am leaving some of the flower heads to try to save seeds, and others I am taking off so that I can dehydrate them so that I can make some more salves. So then I have these are straw flower, and this is what they look like at night until the sun starts to hit them, and then they start to open up. So I will show you what that looks like. And I do have some more sunflowers that are blossoming. I had to take down the other sunflowers because they had, like, the stalks had bent over. So then I have the Sea of Zinnias, which is absolutely gorgeous. And I could take flowers from it, and if you see, there are some that are really, really tall, that are getting to be almost as tall as the fence. So it's just, they're absolutely gorgeous. I can take a couple of bouquets from here and not even know it. And I don't know if I got that, but there was a hummingbird just there. And the hummingbirds and butterflies are going to that instead of the hummingbird feeder that I have for them. So right here I have some of the little carpet zinnias, Persian carpet zinnias. I have them peeking up through the my tomato plants that are right next to them. So I think next time I need to move my tomato plants, a little bit away from them, but it still looks so cute. But these are my Amish paste. I have tons of tomatoes on my vines, but none have started to turn yet. Like I said, I had gotten a really late start, but my plants are pretty much loaded with tomatoes. So all of my plants they're just everywhere. So I'm really excited. I did have a little bit of damage to some of my plants whenever I was tying them up. There were some that were a little bit more brittle plants than others, and then I will show you one that made me really super sad, and I haven't taken it off, but I need to. This is my Belgian giant plant, and if you see down there, it looks like something was biting into it, and I don't know what it was, but it was my biggest tomato, so it really made me sad. Probably a squirrel or something like that. It's sad that I don't have chickens or anything that I could give it to, but I do have more. And this guy right here, he was just tiny just the other day, and he's already getting big. So I'm hoping that I will get some pretty big tomatoes from this Belgian giant plant. So that is what my tomato plants are looking like. Like I said, they're all green. No ripening yet. My parents, they have had theirs coming in for about 2 weeks. And they have more sunshine on their property than I have on mine. Well, I do have a little bit of blushing right there on one of my Romas. So I might be getting tomatoes pretty soon after all. Okay, so I wanted you to see this. Let's see if I can show you. This is a variety that I haven't grown before, and I was really excited to try it. And it's called the Abe Lincoln. So I had the Belgian Giant, which I showed you, that one huge tomato that had been bit or whatever. And then I have the Abe Lincoln. And those were two that I really wanted to try this year. So I have other varieties that are new to me this year that because I like to try different ones right now to see which ones are my staple favorites. And then I will start just pretty much growing those. But let me show you this tomato. This tomato is huge. And it is just so pretty too. So I'm hoping that nothing gets this one. It's higher up, and that's one of the reasons that I think that it was squirrels that damaged the other one, because the other one was low to the ground. So either squirrels or rabbits, one of the two. So anyways, let me show you guys what else I have going on. Okay, right here between my zinnias and behind my tomato plants, these are my sunflower patch. So they're really getting big. It won't be long until I have some opening up. I can already tell. I can see some that are trying to open up. Then right here in this container, I know that there's some weeds in it too, but if you look in there, I have got sweet potato plants. And these are sweet potato plants that I was able to get the slips started from D from Naturally NC. They are Georgia red sweet potatoes. So I'm pretty excited about that. I've never grown sweet potatoes before, and so we're just gonna see how they go. I have not taken the weeds out because it's kind of hard for me to get in there, because this area is kind of crowded. I also have my grapevines right here, so that's one of the things you're seeing is grapevines. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 sweet potato plants, and I actually have another one in another area. So, but my grapevines, I bought them this year, and I just put them in grow bags because I just wasn't sure where I wanted them. And I set them right here, and they've started trellising my tomato stakes. So, they're doing fine though. They're fine where they are for right now, and I can move them later because they're really small. So but they are really growing really well too. So, like I said, I know it's a huge mess right here. I've got tomatoes that still need to be staked and all that kind of thing. These are ones that were smaller to begin with. So, but they do need to be staked at this point in time. So I have 3 separate tomatillo plants, and I have them kind of staked. I'm gonna have to tie them up a little bit better, but they bush out so much that it takes quite a bit of tying if you're gonna support them. So I've got 3 of them. I've got this one, and then I have this one. And if you'll look right here, you see my little buddy? He's taking a nap. Alright, so these are my okra plants. This is my red one, my crimson. And then I have this one, which is my Clemson spineless, and no actual okra yet from these, but I suspect that I will have soon. That's what that looks like to me. Looks like they're getting ready to blossom. So my husband will be really excited about that. I trellised my cucumbers this year, and so that's it took me a little bit to get them up there, so they didn't just naturally climb up there because I had them laying around. And so I finally got them tied up and used some of the stretchy tie tape. And then I do have cucumbers. They have had blossoms, plenty of blossoms. I've got a cucumber up there. Is a little bit misshapen, but it will be just fine to eat. And then beside that, I have cucamelons, and they're a big mess down there because I also didn't get them trellised soon enough, but we have gotten a few cucamelons off of them, and we just kind of have to dig through there. But there's one. They are so cute. And my husband and kids do seem to really like them. So I do plan to grow them again. And look, those are so tiny. The blossoms on the cucamelons are really tiny, just like the fruit is. And so, I don't know, I just love them. They're so cute. Okay, I have my cabbages still that are, these were my later cabbages that I planted out, and they are making a head. They're starting making a head. These are a little bit further along, as you can see. So, and I haven't had any bug damage since it started getting really hot on my cabbages. So I wanted you guys to see the extent of my pumpkin patch. They are way over there, and it is glorious. If you look down in there, and see down inside the blossoms. The pollinators have really been busy over here, and so I'm really excited. These are all of my pumpkins and winter squash. So okay, so they start here. That one is my Cherokee Tan, and then I have the New England Sugar Pie pumpkins, which they're putting out new growth. They had started, some of the leaves had started to die, but they're starting to put out new growth here, just like that. So the New England Sugar Pie, the Winter Luxury, the Long Island Cheese, these are all the pumpkins, plus some kabocha squash that are back there. Those are also considered, they're Japanese pumpkin, but then right here is my South Anna butternut squash. So I've got that there and there. So those are all my pumpkins, and they are really taking off. I mean, they're going way out there. They're almost to the end of that black landscape fabric. And I have one that is going in there through where my corn is. So, which as you see my corn is starting to make ears. If you look right there. So, it's really short, but they're starting to make ears. So I don't really care as long as the ears fill out. I don't care how tall the stalks are. As long as it tastes good, I'm good with that. But anyways, so I was really excited about my pumpkin patch, and I wanted you guys to see how beautiful it looks with all of those blossoms open, and the pollinators are just everywhere on them. And I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. So I do want to show you guys. Let me see if I can find it. So I do have a pumpkin right there that is started growing, and I believe that one is one of the Long Island cheese. And then that is one of the South Anna butternut squash. So I at least have, oh, and look, something is hiding. So cute. It's really hard for me to tell which is which when it comes to the pumpkins, just by the look of them, because some of them I don't know what they look like whenever they grow, because the majority are new to me with the exception of the New England sugar pie pumpkin and the winter luxury pumpkin. Those are the only two that I grew last year. So with the exception of those two, all the others are new to me this year. And so it's a little bit difficult for me to tell which ones are which because of the crisscrossing of the vines. But once they start to develop, I'll know which is which. So I'm really excited because they are starting to make pumpkins, and that's really cool. Because I really want to be able to put some away for winter. I do want you to see this Cherokee Tan pumpkin vine. This one is definitely one of the Cherokee Tan pumpkin vines. But I want you to see. All of those possible pumpkins. So there's two right there, and that's just at the very tip of this. So if all of the little possible ones were to get pollinated just from this one vine, it would be amazing. And I can tell that this vine right here is a butternut squash because you can tell by the shape of the little baby fruit. So if these get pollinated, then we'll have several more of the butternut squash. Okay, so right beside it there is the vine for that's the vine for the tender sweet orange, and then that one is a vine for the sugar baby, and then that is cantaloupe. So this one is Charleston Gray, and that is the Blacktail Mountain watermelon. So they are starting to grow out that way, and they are blossoming. They did get a late start, number one, and number two, this area is very shaded over here, so I don't have to water them as much over here because they are so shaded, so they don't lose as much of their water, but they also are slower to grow over here because of the amount of shade. I really just don't have enough room in my yard where there is a lot of sunlight. This is actually a shot of my yard, so to show you why I don't have a lot of sunlight. And I have those two trees that are here, and that shades a lot of this side over here. And then I'll show you also, if turn this way, then there's the tree there. And then I have all of those trees over there and there. So all of that really shades out my property. And so because of that, even though I have this area over here, like I said, this area, especially this area over here, gets shaded out the majority of the day, really. So I'm really surprised with how much I have gotten from these squash and zucchini plants, even though it's so shaded. So I'm really happy about that. But the watermelon and the cantaloupe, they are growing slower because of that, I believe. These are my ground cherry. I believe this one is my pineapple ground cherry. And I have never had ground cherries before. We love tomatillas because we make lots of pico de gallo. And so I figured, hey, why not try them? We might love them. From what I understand, people either love them or they hate them. So, so we're going to try them. And yes, they got a really late start. Most of my garden did, but these really got later start because they were hard to start from seed. So I've got those, and then I've got some Aunt Molly's as well. And while I'm here, I want to show you my roselle. Now, my roselle has not started blooming yet. All of that is just foliage. But it's a cousin to the hibiscus. It's in the hibiscus family, just like the okra is in the hibiscus family. And so it is really, really beautiful. So this is my comfrey that I started from seeds. It is one of the only ones. I think I had one other germinate and it didn't make it. I have a few chives blossoms that are really beautiful, and I'm really excited about that because that will make more chives in my bag here. This is where I had my cilantro as well, so I'll take up the cilantro. I already cut the cilantro to take the seeds. And so what I will be doing is I will be taking up the root part, but that will give them room to grow. And then of course there's my rosemary that I started from seed, and it is really starting to branch out. So these are some of my purple hull pink-eyed peas. The hulls are actually more pinkish on these than on some of my other ones. But they're doing really well this year, and I've gotten quite a bit. We've eaten some, and I'm putting some away. And this is the bed that has my volunteer kale, and as you see, my volunteer kale is still doing absolutely wonderfully. These are my bell peppers. The purple bell pepper, it's so cute. The purple bell pepper, which is right over here, it actually starts off a really light green, and then it turns purple. And then of course there's the regular bell pepper, and then that one is one of the ones that I grew from seed, and it's starting to put out fruit. I also have the jalapeno plant that's right there. And then that one is one that I grew from seed, and as you can see, it's got a blossom on it. So finally, the ones that I grew from seed are starting to produce as well. Some of them. And I'm going to show you, in a minute, I will show you some of the others that I have that I started from seed, and they are still really tiny. It's so funny. This is my shishito pepper plant that I purchased, and it is just absolutely loaded. If you see how many blossoms and how many peppers, it is just amazing to me how many there are. I have these stakes in there and I need to tie it up a little bit better because it's starting to fall over into some of my other pepper plants. My banana pepper plant that I purchased, and then these are the ones that I grew from seed. There's one back there, and there's there, and there's two of them right there together. They're fine, they like to hold hands, so and then I have the cayenne pepper plants that I bought as starts, and then I'll show you when I get around there. But those right there are cubanelles that I started from seed. They have not started producing yet, but I believe that they will start producing pretty soon. Alright, so now let me show you my others that I started from seed that are not even close, that they're still small. Okay, so if you look in underneath that shishito pepper plant, as you can see, that area, little teeny, and then the others are probably only about 3 inches, 4 inches tall, and the same over here for these. But if you see, those are the fish peppers, and look at how pretty the leaves are. So even if they don't do anything else except just their leaves, they're pretty. But I'm hoping to get a harvest from them. Even though they're still small, they should produce. That one is a hatch pepper, which is a hybrid. And then over here, these are my yellow monster peppers. And they're not so monster right now, but hopefully I have been feeding them and watering them, that kind of thing. So hopefully they will start to really, I don't know, I mean, they were planted at the same time as a lot of the ones that are starting to produce fruit, like my jalapeno and my green pepper. They were started at the exact same time, and they're not growing as fast. These over here are a little bit taller than those, and as you see, my sheep nose pimento has a blossom on it, and because of how late everything is, I'm going to just let it blossom. And as you see, I do have mushroom growth in my bag. So the soil is good. I have also watered them. I have fed them. So we'll just have to wait and see. Same kind of goes for all the little peppers that are down in there. Some of them are really small. Others of them are a little bit bigger. They're just none of them are really uniform this year. I'm not sure exactly why. So, same for those. A couple of them are bigger, a couple of them are smaller. Not sure why. So, and these are my Tabasco plants, and these were started the same time that all the others were. And if you see, they are huge compared to all the others that I started. So, like I said, I'm not sure what's going on with them. And actually, look, there's those two, and then there's that one. And they're planted in the same soil, everything. I don't understand what the difference is this year. These are my top crop beans, and they're doing really well. They're on their second burst of producing beans. And then I have these are my black beans that are bush beans, and they're starting to blossom. So they will be producing soon, and I just keep them watered. So we'll see how well they produce Those are the other purple hull pink-eyed peas, and they are almost completely done with their first round. They are, I've seen some blossoms on them recently, so they may start to blossom again here soon. And then let me show you this bed that is not looking very well. These are my red swan beans and the purple TP beans and royal burgundy beans. And this bed looks like it's dying. So there are some plants that are still really, really good, like those right there. But then a lot of them are like that. I do still see lots of blossoms and stuff, so as long as they're putting out new growth and they're blossoming, I'll keep the plant, but otherwise I'm probably going to pull some of the plants. So that will give me room to put some of my fall crops in. And yes, it's really hot, but yes, I'm thinking fall crops. I've been working on planting my brassicas. I'm planting them inside. So that way whenever it comes time for them to come out, then they will be a decent size. Alright, it's time for me to go inside. It's getting hot out here. And the sun is just now really breaking over the trees. So I'm going to go inside. I do have some beans and some peas that I need to take care of that I just picked today. And thank you guys for spending time with me today, and we'll see you soon.